ねえ、あなたは誰？君は誰？君の名前は？
So, about my IGN, the year is 2013. I played a lot of TF2 and was still a young innocent boy. My IGN was not 40 but 40 thick Burke. I used that IGN because it made me feel like solid, as in hard, like an iceberg. And from what I see, back then people in TF2 used nonsense but catchy to pronounce IGN. I used that name for a while but no one has ever called me 40 thick Burke. They just call me 40 and I thought to myself, that sounds cool actually. So I just used 40 as my IGN for as long as possible. I got that name not from the font Forte because back then I didn't even know that font exists. Anyway, that's a brief history of my IGN, not much to it.
So back then when I started with my Steam account, I didn't have a name that I would stick to. I would usually just cosplay, like take a character from an anime, and just have it as both your name and your profile picture. It's what I did. One day, I was cosplaying Tet from No Game No Life on a game of Counter-Strike. And one of the guys on my team called me by the actual Japanese name of the character, Teto. In an instant, the name clicked on me. I immediately said to myself, if the internet would have to call me by something other than my real name, it's gotta be Teto. So down goes Tet, followed by an apostrophe, and finally ended with an O. Then, a few months later, I realized how most usernames don't allow the use of apostrophes, so I removed the apostrophe, making my username Teto. That's my name.
My current nickname Zaslavsky is based from a Russian EDM producer or DJ called Zed. His real name is Anton Zaslavsky. Back in 2015, I really liked EDM songs. And I really like his songs especially. At the time, I don't know what nickname should I use for my future games. At first, I'm using Utilitarian as my first nickname. And then I changed my nickname on Osu into Zaslavsky, but I made a typo. It should have been Zaslavsky, but that typo ended up making my own original name. So yeah, I have no regrets making that typo.
So, I started playing Dota for the first time in 2014. One thing that really interests me is the pro player, and I really like watching this pro player named Foref because he's really good at Dota. I think his name is really cool too, and it reminds me of the word forever. That time, I was a player who always play by myself or solo, making me forever alone. So, I used the Foref as my nickname. Give the R at the end of the boom, it's a forever. The nickname that I use till today.
My in-game name has a pretty long backstory. Being involved in the internet ever since you were a child, you've definitely made some absolutely regrettable name choices. For me, understanding that was around the second year of junior high, where I decided to make a group with my friends called the Zodiac Saints. Since I myself was an Aquarius, I changed it a bit into Aquarius because, well, I thought it sounded cooler and made it more unique from just being Aquarius. And then, finally, I went with Saint Aquarius to follow with the name of our group. The so-called founders of this group is myself, as well as my two friends who went by Saint Tauron and Saint Capricorn. When we moved on to senior high, we went our separate paths, and we never really did much with the group. Nevertheless, it was a great time. But then, since we've been separated, the group got disbanded in a way. I didn't want to let go of Aquarius. I personally really liked the name. And that's when Saint Aquarius would evolve to just being Aquarius, his own individual.
Hello there. I usually go by the nickname Walfred in game. I took the nickname from a grinding hell game, which is Grand Blue Fantasy. One day when I was bored during extra class for national exam preparation, I played Grand Blue Fantasy's story mode, and in a certain chapter, they introduced one of the 7 luminary knights, which is a blue knight. When I found out that his name was Walfred, I thought it was a pretty darn cool name. So starting from that day, I use it as my main nickname, and yeah, I think it's fitting really well.
Hey, my name is Adi. I get Sadir from, yeah, just put S in our name.